Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. I, on the other hand, am not. You can see from the bags under my eyes. I am not sleeping well, and it's been, you know what, at home. My AC's broke. It is hot as you know what, and it's just been absolute torture. Hopefully tonight the AC will be fixed. But I am dragging and lagging tonight, so you're going to have to excuse me. And I'm going to start on a very big RICO case that you might have heard about before. You may have not heard about before, but it's very long, and I have to read it off my phone because it was just too much to write out in notes. There was too much information. I am going to jump through some parts and try to make this as short as I can, but here is your following the corruption. Okay. In a superseding indictment unsealed that added new details to the criminal case alleging a widespread corruption scheme led by former Los Angeles councilman Jose how did I say that? Hunars. A federal grand jury has added 5 defendants, including former Los Angeles Deputy Mayor Raymond Chan, to the racketeering case that accuses Hunars and his close associates of illegally obtaining financial benefits from developers who in exchange sought favorable treatment on pending real estate development projects. After being arrested in June, pursuant to the criminal complaint, Hunan, I don't know how to say it, Jose Hunars. Sorry. Because the way it's spelled is not the way it sounds. So I had to go and actually find out how to say this. 52, he's 52 years old, was charged in July in a 34-count indictment that alleged a conspiracy to violate the Racketeering Influenced and Corrupt Organization RICO Act, in which Hunars agreed to accept at least $1.5 million in illegal financial benefits. That racketeering charge alleged 102 overt acts that Hunars and his co-conspirators committed to further their criminal enterprise, including bribery, honest service fraud, and money laundering. The 41-count superseding indictment, unsealed today, adds 50 overt acts to the racketeering conspiracy count. The racketeering charge now also charged Chan, who formerly was the general manager of the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety, and more recently was the city deputy mayor of economic development. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I gotta take a call. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I know you guys really don't realize it, but you'll see it when the film cuts. So I'd like you to know what happened. I got a call about some business with my house, and I wanted to make sure it got taken care of. So let me now jump back on here and pick up where I left off. And I believe I left off right here, so I'm going to jump right back on there. Okay, after being arrested in June pursuant to his criminal complaint, Hunars, 52, I read that part, okay, that alleged a conspiracy to violate the Racketeering Influence and Corruption Organization. I hope I didn't read all this, and I'm reading it a second time, but hey, maybe you'll pick something up I missed if I did. RICO Act, in which Hunars agreed to accept at least $1.5 million in illegal financial benefits that racketeering charged alleged 142 overt acts of Hunars and his co-conspirator committed to further their criminal enterprise, including bribery, honest service fraud, and money laundering. The 41-count superseding indictment, unsealed, added 50 overt acts to the RICO conspiracy count. The racketeering charge now also charged Chan, who formerly was the general manager of the Los Angeles Department of Buildings and Safety, and more recently was the city deputy mayor of Economics Development. Yes, I did read all that. But again, maybe we picked up something we missed, or sometimes when you go over something twice, you get more out of it. So, sorry, I was interrupted and I lost my place. And I didn't want to waste time to go back and find out where it was. Okay, the 5 new defendants in the superseding indictment are Raymond Shea Wan Chan. Okay, also known, she was, I just want to make sure this is okay, yeah, I'm going to read all of it to you. Also known as Shi Kwang, or Wong, I don't know how you pronounce it, 64. Identified in previous court filings as Individual 1, who was charged with RICO conspiracy, bribery, honest service fraud, and lying to federal agents. And then Wee Hung, 55, that's the name, 55 years old, who also maintained a resident in Marino, previously identified in court documents as Chairman E, who is the billionaire chair and president of a global development company headquartered in China, and who faced charges of bribery, honest service fraud, and Travel Act violations. Sorry, between these names and now my eyes, I'm struggling. I didn't know these were all these names that were from other countries. Okay, this is Dae Young Lee, also known as David Lee, 56 years old. And did I skip somebody? I think I did. Hold on. Let me finish this one. Of Bel Air, identified in prior court filings as Developer C, who is the developer which multi-properties in Los Angeles, and who is charged with bribery, honest service fraud, and obstruction. No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. Wait. Yes, this is the one I missed. Shin Zin New World 1 LLC of Hong's U.S.-based companies, which acquired the L.A. Grand Hotel downtown in 2011 for $90 million and plan to redevelop it into a 77-story tower, and which his name in the same counts as Hung. And then that one I just did. So 940 Hill LLC, a Lee-owned company that purchased a South Hill Street property in downtown Los Angeles in 2008 for $9 million and planned to redevelop it into a mixed-use development, and which his name is in the same count as Lee. So those are the 5 additional co-conspirators. In addition to the RICO conspiracy charge in indictment charges 14 counts of honest service wire fraud, 2 counts of honest service mail fraud, 4 counts of traveling interstate in aid of racketeering, 9 counts of bribery, 5 counts of money laundering, 1 count of constructing cash deposits to conceal bribes, 1 count of making false statements to a financial institution, 1 count of alterations of records in a federal investigation, 2 counts of making false statements to a federal law enforcement, and 1 count of tax evasion. Each of the defendants is charged in various counts. Hunars, for example, is charged in 34 of the 41 counts. The scope of corruption outlined in this indictment is staggering. As the indictment alleges, Hunars, Chan, and their network of associates repeatedly violated the public trust by soliciting and accepting numerous cash bribes and other financial benefits, turning Hunar's city council seat into a money-making crime enterprise. Powerful developers operating through well-connected lobbyists eagerly participated in the schemes to get preferential treatment for their own projects. This detailed indictment, which layers bare these backroom deals, should prompt a serious discussion as to whether significant reform are warranted in Los Angeles' city government. This isn't just in Los Angeles. This is everywhere, people. This is nothing new. They just finally got caught because somebody either got mad because they weren't involved or jealous that they were, scheming in all this money. That's the only reason it ever really comes to light, is because somebody upset somebody, is the nicest way I can say it on here. But for the most part, this is what they all do. It's not something new. It's not something that doesn't happen all the time. This happens all the time. And these cases they're the reason why I'm trying to figure out how to say it to you. This is the reason why I bring these kind of cases to you. This is why I do this every night. This is why I read these cases off to you and inform you about these cases, because this is going on everywhere in our government, and this money is taken from us, the citizen, from hardworking other companies that are trying to make money as well. And instead of it being done honestly and giving people a chance to build their business and make money, they have door deals that they're making with certain people and keeping it in their own little group, where that's where the money stays, within that little group. But they're all the same. This isn't a one-time deal. It's just, for some reason, they turned on each other or turned somebody in, or somebody found out about it and was ticked off. Whatever the reason was, it was finally brought to light. Thank God. And it was probably from getting screwed out of a business deal. One of the other companies probably knew about it, got fed up with it, and turned them in. But it's nothing new. That's the whole point of it. It's not something that is not happening everywhere. People just need to wake up and realize that this goes on every day in every county, every state, every area. And it just depends who's got their hand in the pot wherever they are. And this is where our money goes. This is why people are struggling and other people are extra wealthy with money beyond the means or needs of having. Which to me is absurd, that some people have more money than they could ever use in a lifetime, and other people are struggling. And usually because of greed, backwards deals, and people not wanting to let anybody else in to be able to make any money. All selfishness and greed. And that's sad. And to me, pathetic. Because everybody should have a chance to have a decent life and to live a decent life and have a chance at a decent life. And my light is going, and I don't want to fade into the darkness because then it looks weird. One of my videos, my face was so white, I looked like a ghost. I don't know. But I don't want too much light. I don't know. I don't know what to do. You're just going to have to take me looking like a monster and fading into the dark, I guess, because it's getting dark. Oh, backlights. I always forget. I don't know. There we go. Now I look human again, somewhat, I guess. I should have left it like that. Yeah, like that. Okay. So, let's get back to this. I didn't say that. Okay, the charges announced today allege wholesale corruptions and outline the way in which Hunars and Chan brokered their powerful positions to gain personal and politically and financially by selling to the highest bidder in a stunning betrayal of the Angelus they swore an oath to serve. It doesn't say Los Angeles, it says Angeles, so that confused me. Okay, that's just them saying they're proud they did whatever. The indictment alleges that Hernandez and Chan operated the CD14 enterprise named for City Council District 14, with Hernandez represented from 2005 until this year. Other members of the conspiracy were George Esposara, Hunzar's former special assistant and real estate development consultant, George Cheng, each of whom pleaded guilty earlier this year to participating in the RICO conspiracy. The indictment added overt acts to the RICO conspiracy, alleging the CD14 enterprise members illegally solicited political contributions by foreign nations to help maintain the enterprise political power. Among the numerous other corruption allegations, the indictment charged that Hunars illegally accepted more than $800,000 in benefits from Hung. It's either Hung or Hung. Mainly during luxury-laden gambling trips in addition to Hunars and Chang's request, and after Hunars had helped save Chan's city position by helping to pervert the plan's merge that would have eliminated Chan's department. Hyung also provided $600,000 in collateral to fund a settlement of a sexual harassment lawsuit filed against Hunars by a former CD14 staffer. Allegations that threatened his 2 2015 re-election campaign, according to the indictment. At the time he provided these benefits, Hyung was planning to redevelop the LA Grand Hotel into the tallest tower west of the Mississippi, which would require city approvals of Hunar's help. When Chan was later interviewed by FBI agents about the lawsuit settlement, he allegedly lied about his participation in this secret payment arrangement and about his knowledge of Hung's act of Hunar's. Chan is also charged with multiple counts of bribery and honest service fraud and for agreeing to accept, while he was deputy mayor, more than $100,000 from, again, I don't know if Ching or Chang, because it's Chiang, for official acts to benefit a project by Chinese developer. Shizana Haynes. Additionally, Chain is charged with facilitating a bribery agreement in which a Hazen domestic subsidiary, and then it has the name Jing Young USA Co. Incorporated, would make a $100,000 campaign contribution to Hunar's. Relatives rerunning for the CD14 seat in exchange for Hunar's vote to approve the project last month. Jai Young, which was seen in redevelopment, the Los Angeles Lux City Center Hotel, paid $1,050,000 to resolve the government investigation in its conduct related to this case, and which included bribery and illegal campaign contributions. Jay Young entered into a non-prosecution agreement, agreed to cooperate with the government's investigation, and admits to providing benefits to Hunar's and his associates before Hunar's voted to approve the Lux Hotel project when the matter came before the City Planning and Land Use Management Committee, which Hunar's chaired, and the City Council. The indictment further alleges that Lee provided $500,000 in cash to Hunar's and Esperanza in exchange for Hunar's help in resolving a labor organization appeal on the 940 Hill Development Project. Court documents allege that Lee provided bags of cash to Justin, I want to say, this is Jungwoo Kim, and Hunar's fundraiser to develop the Hunaras and Esperanza. Kim admitted to facilitating the bribe from Lee to plead guilty to a federal bribery offense. Lee and 940 Hill are also charged with falsifying accounting and tax records to cover up the bribe. Hunar's pled not guilty in August to charges in the initial indictment. He is expected to be arraigned on the superseding indictment on December 7th. Chen and Lee have been directed to surrender to federal authorities. Chen and Lee are expected to be arraigned on a superseding indictment Tuesday afternoon in the United States District Court in downtown Los Angeles. 940 Hill has been issued a summons to appear in the U.S. District Court on Tuesday. I don't have to go over all this. The indictment contained allegations that the defendant has committed a crime. Even defendant and presumed innocent. Okay, that's just saying none of them are, they're all innocent until proved guilty. But basically, this goes on and on and on in charges. And I read a lot of them. And there's a lot more. So you can see all the corruption in this case. It has to be one of the biggest cases. I don't know. I haven't seen this many charges in a lot of my cases. Let's see. Okay, so I guess there's not going to be any outcome at this point in here. Later on down the line, when I hit further down, there may be an update to what happened on December 7th. At the time, I'm reading this, there is no update of how much time they got. It was a huge RICO conspiracy, and it's a huge case. I would love to see what these people actually got in charges. Let's see if they get a slap on the wrist too. Okay, now I'm going to try to run through the next couple real fast. I only did a couple because that one was so big and I knew it was going to take so much time. But again, people, this is what's going on in every one of our cities, counties, states. And we are getting harassed by these people, just like with my story last night of being harassed by code for things that I haven't even done. And these people are the people who are coming after us, but they're committing major crimes behind the scenes. So the people who tell us to be honest and do right, or they're going to have us arrested or penalized or this or that, they are behind the scenes corrupt and breaking the law themselves. Where do you see the common sense in that? Please, somebody tell me. I would love somebody to explain that to me. How these people who break the law, make millions and billions off of it, will come harass you over $150 over something you wanted to do to your own house or didn't do to your own house. It's been like that for 50 years on your property, but because you fix it, they want their $150 and they got billions sitting in the bank. And again, why should anybody have to ask or pay somebody to get permission to do something to their own home? Because these people want to steal it from you. And they'll find a way to steal it from you, just like they steal in every one of these other situations and cases that I read about. Manipulate, steal, lie, do whatever they want to do. But we are actually the people they want to hold to the higher standard, when they're the ones in the positions that are supposed to be held to the higher standard. Doesn't make much sense to me, guys. Again, it's time to make changes. Okay, this one was, and that one I think was the beginning of December. I don't remember. Or was it? No, it might have been a little bit before this one. I'm not sure. Yeah, because they were going to court on December 7th on that one. I think that was on another November 30th. So, anyways, this one again was another November 30th. And then I think we start into December at the end of the last case. Anyways, General Manager of San Francisco Public Utilities Commissions charged with honest service wire fraud for taking bribes in public bidding process, which was kind of what they were doing as well. So again, do you not see that they all do the same thing, just different areas, different counties, different cities? It's all over because these people are doing it too. Bribes included family trips to China with hotel stays, meals, and gifts. Harlan Kelly, the general manager of the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, has been charged in a federal criminal complaint with honest service wire fraud. And this is San Francisco, California. The complaint alleges that Kelly, 58, engaged in a long-running bribery scheme and corruption partnership with Walter Wong, a San Francisco construction company executive and permit expediting consultant who ran or controlled multi entities doing business in the city of San Francisco. The company alleges that as part of the scheme, Wong provided items of value to Kelly in exchange for his official acts by Kelly that benefited or attempted to benefit Wong's business ventures. Public officials are supposed to owe their honest service to the people. That pretty much no longer exists, as we see in all of these cases. The allegations against Harlan Kelly and the 9 other individuals charged in this case are extremely troubling to citizens. However, through the course of this ongoing investigation, the FBI has uncovered a pattern of criminal activities committed by those in positions of trust. Anyone with information in this case or any other case or about any corruption needs to come forward with that information and hold these people accountable. So please do so. If you know of this going on in your area, please turn these crooks in, these criminals in. This was multi-millions in contracts. Just one of the contracts was worth multi-millions involved in this case. You can't imagine how far it went in bribes on the other side for Kelly, but again, I want to keep it short. The list is ridiculous, and I didn't want to keep reading that list like I did the other one because I would be here probably past an hour. As part of Wong's agreement, he pled guilty to conspiracy to commit honest service fraud and money laundering, and is now providing information to the government. Basically, he turned on Kelly and got a BS plea deal. At this point, it's still allegations. It's still allegations. As any criminal case, the defendants are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in the court of law. My opinion, depending on who you are, your background, and your position, and how much money you make, and who your friends are, that's really the difference. Kelly is charged with one account of honest service wire fraud in violation of 18.6 SCSS 1343 and 1446. If convicted of this count, he faces the max of 20 years in prison, which is, of course, Club Fed for them. And, sorry, I lost my place. And, of course, the $250,000 fine. Or not more than or greater of twice the gross gain or twice the gross loss. However, any sentence following conviction would be imposed by the court only after consideration of the U.S. sentencing guidelines and federal statute government imposed of a sentence 18 U.S.C. SS 3553. In other words, they'll find the slap on the wrist for them. Kelly was not even in custody and had a court date on December 8th. 2020. I wonder why no update yet. Okay. Okay. So this is a follow-up to what I read. This is the same case, but a follow-up to other people on a case I read in another following the corruption. This was the one where they set up the family member. Okay. So I think the chief of police and the, what was it? I think Congresswoman, or was another high-up politician, and the chief of police, they were family members, and they had so many crimes under their belt, and to hide one of their crimes, they decided to team up and set a relative up to take the fall for the crimes and to basically discredit him from what crimes he was saying they committed against him and an elderly, either grandma or mom. I forget at this point because I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. Go back and watch that one. It was a horrible case. But this was the follow-up to the 2 officers that were involved in this humongous case. This was another big case. That's why you got to watch Following the Corruption. And I was wondering what happened to certain people in this case, because they were only talking about the 2 family members, and then the brother that they helped get away with some crimes. And there was other people that helped them through this. So this was the 2 police officers that were involved in this case. And if I wasn't so tired, I'd have more details for you. I am so sorry. But go back and watch it. But the former Honolulu police officer sentenced for framing an innocent man with a crime. New release summary, December 1st, 2020. 2 former police officer, Derek Wing and Hung and Ming Hung, Bobby Nugent, were sentenced for conspiring to obstruct justice by framing an innocent man with a crime he did not commit. Hung and Nugent were sentenced to 42 and 54 months in custody. Each will also be subject to 2 years of supervised release following their sentence. This case was one of the largest public corruption cases in Hawaii. Again, think about the ones still getting away with this here all over America. And much more and worse. Max penalties for this is 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. The obstruction of official proceedings was 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. You gotta be kidding me. All that they did in these, as they said, the biggest crime in Hawaii, and all of these crimes in one case, and the minimal they always get the minimal punishment. Are you kidding me? Out of basically 25 years in total and a $250,000 fine on each, they get 42 and 54 months. This man could have sat in jail innocently, and they helped cover up not just that crime, but other crimes with these women. And they're all going to get slaps on the wrists. It doesn't matter. It was that I wrote conspiracy to commit the offense against the United States. A conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States is only 5 years and a $250,000 fine. That's crazy. And the other one was 20 years for obstruction. Okay, that was just reminding me to tell you guys I had already read this case, and if you want to see the whole case, please go back and go watch the other following the corruption that I did. It, I believe, was the one before the last one that I did, so 2 back. And it tells you the whole crazy case, and I read almost or pretty much every bit of it, and just like I did the one before this that was extremely long, and gave you all the details, and all the different crimes that were in this case were absolutely ridiculous. And all the people, kind of like that racketeering case too, I just read. There was so many people involved, and so many doing so many corrupt things, but most of it came back to the 2 ladies that robbing their family, robbing other people, robbing banks, taking out loans. She robbed her own children. It was horrible. And these are our public officials. This is a wake-up call, guys. These are our public officials. They are supposed to be held to a higher standard and walk a straight line, and they're crookeder and corrupter than any street criminal you'll see out there. They just have their foot in the door to be able to do it to us already. It's not like going and stealing a pair of sneakers. It's like going after hundreds of thousands of or even millions of dollars. Come on, people. And you wonder why our country is in the state it is today. Again, our money, our belongings, the things we own, they will try to take from you. They will try to tell you you're doing wrong, you're committing crimes, you're doing it, and all you're doing is putting up a fence in your yard or fixing one. Yet they're stealing people's identities. They're taking power of attorney over people so they can pretend to be somebody else and rob them blind and falsify information and have innocent people arrested and so forth. Look at, again, let's go back to the Avery case. Let's go back to the Watts case. Let's go back to the Delphi girls and what's going on in their county. There's so much corruption, and you people are just letting it happen. Sitting back and letting it happen. No, that's got to stop, and it's got to change, and these changes need to be made now. This cannot continue. This corruption cannot continue. I'm sorry. It's got to be stopped. And I really hope that that stuff does not pop up on my screen in the middle of my video. I hope it doesn't record it, but who knows. Anyways, guys, I love you guys. I'm tired. I'm hoping to go home to a cool house. I don't know if that's going to happen. You guys, though, take care. God bless. Have a wonderful night. Please stay with me. Share my videos. Bring some new people on. And let's go so I can do some lives and we can actually start talking and planning on how we are going to make these changes in today's world. This is absurd that this is going on. But people need to wake up and they need to realize this is not a one-time thing. This is not going to stop. This is a continued thing of corruption in our government. And it's not going to stop unless we make the changes. And it's time. But anyways, have a great night. I love you guys. Take care. And I will see you on my next video. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Bye.